Welcome, travelers. Since the dawn of time, people have told stories of great heroes and of terrible villains. Since approximately 1974, there's still some debate apparently over exactly who invented the idea and got it down on paper first, but I digress. People have used role-playing games to step into the shoes of such dynamic characters and escape into worlds of fantasy where wizards and warriors, orcs and elves, and dare I say, dragons and dungeons take center stage. Tonight's story will be one of many such tales of adventure. Welcome to the show, everybody. These are our heroes in tonight's tale. Jeffrey Banjo, half-elf bard.
Hi everybody, Jeffrey Banjo here. My banjo got broken. My 3-neck banjo got broken last time, and it seemed to be the only bit of equipment that was, which is felt a bit harsh, to be honest. But
tragic.
We're on a quest. We're on an epic adventure, and what feels like a pretty solid final boss that's coming up, which I think personally will make a great finale for my personal journal.
Reverend Hatchet, vegetable pygmy druid.
Good evening. I'm not writing a journal, so I don't know whether I'm looking forward to facing a supreme evil that wants to kill us. But also not entirely sure about going into a desert. I'm very leafy now, being a creature made of plants, and so not famously fond of deserts. But we'll see how that goes. Should be fine.
Trim Toscobble, halfling rogue / barbarian / warlock.
Hello, I'm Trim. I'm feeling fairly vengeful and fairly angry because I've lost all my money and I feel that somehow it's the world's fault and not my own. So I'm on a bit of a quest against the world, really. So I'm not feeling that in control of my anger at the moment. So I'm feeling like anything could happen.
And last but by no means least, Bagsy Badley, half-orc paladin.
Hi guys, I'm Bagsy Badley. I'm feeling kind of down at the moment because I haven't murdered any henchmen or villains in like 2 days. So, got a lot of pent-up rage. I'm looking to, out somehow. Just need to fill the void with something, whether that's violence or a penis. I don't know.
And I, of course, am the Dungeon Master, who controls every facet of reality and describes the outcome of our heroes' actions, determined by the dice that I alone control. Tonight's story is episode 1 of season 12, Sand to Sand Combat.
Oh, I like the sound of the combat.
Our heroes have found themselves upon what may be their final quest. Dark forces marshal on the horizon, and they have tracked down a clue as to the location of the leader of their opponents. Somewhere deep in the desert of Strezed lurks the tomb of forgotten horrors, where the mysterious Dark Master, who has sent many monsters and terrible things to kill them, supposedly resides. But first, they must get there. It has been a long and terrible journey just to reach the edge of the desert itself, and yet more strife lies ahead. Many have journeyed across the desert of Strezed, but few have ever returned alive. Those who do babble incoherently about the oasis of madness, the dunes of despair, and the giant scorpions of self-doubt. Dare you cross this desert and face what could be your doom?
I mean,
I sincerely hope so, because otherwise
Yes.
not a lot will happen in this episode.
I mean,
we agreed, yes.
we've got nothing better to do. I mean, particularly Jeffrey, but we just don't have anything else to do. So yeah, might as well see if we can get a killing.
How have you prepared yourself for this dangerous and deadly journey across a vast sandy expanse with precious little in the way of resources and food, water, that kind of thing? How are you traveling?
Oh, I have a camel called Francis, who is assisting me.
This is Francis, the celestial camel, summoned by the divine powers of your paladin mantle, yes?
Yes.
Does anybody else have anything to ride, or are you just walking while Bagsy sits on a camel?
Well, I'm not so big, so I'm wondering whether I might be able to just hop on up there as well.
Yeah, you're totally welcome, Trim. Come on up.
Lovely.
In fact, Reverend, you're pretty small too. Do you want to come up?
Great, why not? Yeah, let's go.
So's Jeffrey. Looks like you're walking.
Cool. I'll just be playing a song, on the old banjo.
How many humps has Francis got? Is he a one humper? Is he a double?
He's a double humper.
He's a doubler.
Yeah.
Trim, which hump do you want?
I'll have the front hump.
Cool, I'll back hump it.
Great.
And then
Great.
Bagsy sits in the little bit between the humps, then you'll all be of the same height.
Aww.
I mean, I'm
Well,
still
not all
probably
of us.
taller.
Well, obviously not Jeffrey. Jeffrey, describe the song that you play as you march forlornly across the dunes on the trail of Francis the camel.
Well, it's going to be a song that's like that we can carry on for the entire way. So it's sort of the desert version of 10 Green Bottles, but with
What is the desert version of 10 Green Bottles?
10 green sand dunes.
Oh yes, the luscious green sand dunes of the
Indeed.
desert.
So, in the song 10 Green Bottles, the 10 Green Bottles are on like a wall and they fall down. Where in the song 10 Green Sand Dunes are the sand dunes?
The horizon.
Very clever, very good. That's smart. That's nice.
That's nice.
Really hated that. But yeah, that's basically what's going on. And obviously, because Jeffrey's great at it, it's not annoying anybody.
I'm finding it irritating. I'm finding it annoying. Yeah, Trim just has both fingers in her ears and she's just thinking about killing and about revenge, just to keep.
What, just in general, or specifically to Jeffrey?
Oh no, she's not thinking about killing you. I'm not thinking
Trim?
about killing Jeffrey. No.
Trim, can you describe one of your revenge fantasies?
One of my revenge fantasies, one of my favourite ones it's like a go-to, is just think about anybody who's ever stolen money from me. I imagine just taking out their eyeballs and just waving them about in front of their face and pretending that I've got their eyes.
Would you then put some of the money back into their eye socket?
I could do. I've never gone that far. I tend to. No, but I could, but
that's the line. Is it? Is that the line? Putting a coin.
in the
Eyeball
metaphorical
out,
and physical
fine.
sense.
Reasonable thing to fantasize about on the regular. Putting a coin in the hole? Whoa.
I just don't want to lose any money.
Dirty, weird.
What if I lost it? I don't want to lose it. What if it rattled around the skull?
A skull makes a lovely purse. Just put a chain on that thing, and then
A hat.
that's the season's accessories taken care of.
I'm not so sure about the young fashions of the young people. I just like the violence and the death, and the revenge. That'll do it for me. A glass of sherry and a bit of death.
I forgot to ask. You originally started our quest with us because you had stolen so much money from your home village and you were banished. You were kind of planning on collecting the money and then giving it back to the town. Have you just sacked that off?
Oh yeah, I remember I told you about that when I was drunk, didn't I? I was planning on giving the money back, then I
Then you
got so
became a
much
warlock.
It's tough. Once you've been signed over to a demon, it's kind of my hands are tied. Really, I can't go giving away money to charity. It just doesn't. And now I've lost it anyway, so it's a moot point.
Dungeon Master's note, that is a lie. Trim is not required to steal gold by her warlock patron.
Hmm.
My hands are tied. There's nothing I can do.
You know what devils are like? That's my Trim impression. So you have
Oh,
travelled for a day and most of a night across the desert of Strezed, and it has been, so far, pretty distressingly uneventful. Banjo has gotten through interminable verses of 10 green sand dunes. And yet, he shows no signs of stopping. The sun has risen on the far horizon, and you travel further into the desert in search of the Tomb of Forgotten Horrors. It's approaching mid-morning, and the sun is starting its climb above you almost to its zenith, when across the next sand dune, you can hear a strangely familiar sound. The sound of lots of people with strange and unusual voices having an argument about something pretty fucking stupid. At this point, I would gesture at the audience and ask them to supply the sounds of people with strange voices arguing about something dumb. But I feel like the audience has just heard that maybe for the span of about 5 minutes.
We could do that very quickly.
Go on, give us your best crowd of people arguing.
And they can also.
It's
yeah,
jam and then cream.
How many of the toenails
Then
can
cream.
Jamming is a
what if
slur.
you...
Yeah.
No,
You got to put the jam on first, then the cream. It's
no,
wrong
you
the
have to
other way round.
scrape it with the nails.
Milk first, then the cereal. That's what it sounds like. Just over the next sand dune. What do you do? Brave heroes?
Should we go see if there's anyone in that big arguing group who is fit and shaggable?
Well, I think that's a priority at the moment, surely.
I mean, it's your camel.
I don't think
Yeah.
we should be risking losing any bodily fluids. I really don't.
I was hoping to gain some
hang on,
bodily
what?
fluids.
What do you mean bodily fluids here? How do you... What?
What you think I mean is what I mean.
I'm very confused because there are various monsters that would seek your bodily fluids in like an aggressive, monstrous kind of a way. Like, for example, a vampire wants to drain your blood. But I really feel like in the middle of a desert, that wasn't what you were worried about.
No, I was worried. I feel like Trim was worried that that we'd be losing bodily fluids that we don't need to lose. Whereas in a
Moisture
fight,
preservation.
Moisture preservation theory. I'm writing a paper on it.
You're worried that if Bagsy sleeps with someone, she'll waste her precious moisture.
Exactly, it's the desert. I've never been in the desert before. I've only got one water skin of water, and I'm worried. I'm worried.
I say yeah to Francis, and we galloped off in the direction. And Francis actually also just picked up a bit of sand in Jeffrey's face.
Oh,
10 green sand.
Can we
As you
still hear
crest
that?
the rise of the sand dune, Bagsy, Trim, Reverend Hatchet, and, I suppose, Francis, you can see below you what looks like a magnificent oasis, a pool of bright blue water shaded by the leaves of a half-dozen palm trees, and arrayed around the shores of this oasis in the midst of an arid desert, you can see what looks like about 24 people of all sorts of various different weird shapes, sizes, professions, looks. It is a bizarre bunch. There's at least one giant that you can see, someone with the head of an elephant, someone with the head of a bird, lots of
And
small people, big people.
when you say the head of an elephant, they haven't got like it under their arm. You mean their head is of an elephant?
No, I mean their head is an elephant's head, in the same way that the head of Ravana the Rakshasa was a tiger.
Oh.
I didn't double check this with Graham first. I'm just going to assume he's really good at drawing elephants' heads. They don't appear to have seen you.
Do they have friendly vibes?
Well, they are arguing with each other. Very few of them seem to be kind of well armed or dangerous. I mean, one of them is like a giant, so obviously they're very naturally dangerous because they're big. But they're certainly not heavily armed.
I'm just gonna check what I've got on me because this sounds like it's a party. People arguing by the water. That's like a kitchen basically. So I'm going to see if I've got anything appropriate to bring to this party.
Jeffrey, you'll have caught up by now, and you'll see the same thing as you look down. Are you still singing?
I'll stop as I crest over and take a look in, see what's going on. Do they look like aggressive to each other at all, or?
They look more frustrated with each other than aggressive. There's a lot of throwing up of hands in the air and people walking off a short distance and then kind of like getting that kind of like look on their face and then turning back around and walking back and having another...
Should we go and introduce ourselves and see if we can... They've obviously got some problems. We are nothing if not problem solvers.
Have I just been promoted to Dungeon Master? We go up and they give us all their money.
That was my fault. My internet cut out and I dropped out, and then so it cancelled Zoom, and now Zoom's back, and now I don't know who I am.
Trim Toscott. Can we do this for a little while?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Body swap. Okay.
It's me. I'm Reverend Hatchets.
What are you guys doing?
Oh, I want to go and do. I want to do a cartwheel and cartwheel up the trunk of one of these elephants, and then put my spiky hat on the top of them.
Any of the people that are arguing bugs?
Okay, I've got some dice. Do that.
Can't see who I am. Am I Jeffrey? Is that the only person left?
You're Bagsy. You're Bagsy, Trim.
Hi guys. I'm just wondering if any of you are single. I'm Bagsy Badley. I'm a lover and a fighter. So Bagsy, I'm going to go up to all different people and just flirt outrageously. Goodness.
Okay. Who are you going up to?
The elephant person and the bird person.
Do any of them have coins or shiny things?
I don't know how to check that.
You just say whether they do or don't.
You don't know if they do.
All right, okay. I feel like we've tortured Bagsy enough. I'm going to resume my role as the dungeon master.
Wait, can I quickly? How many people are there around the pool?
24.
Okay, can I use 24 I met Jeffrey Banjo cards and just quickly? I'm just going to quickly whiz around like, hey, Jeffrey Banjo. Hey,
sorry, whilst you are still Jeffrey Banjo. I mean, I think that's pretty obviously what's going to happen.
Nice.
I just wanted the chance to feel it. It felt great, actually. I really enjoyed it.
So you're going to go and introduce yourselves?
I see why he does it now.
Whee!
Is there anyone in particular that you're going to aim to introduce yourselves to, or are you just picking the person closest to you and just walking up to them?
I mean, does anyone look the most kind of impressive or charismatic or leader-like? Because they're who I'm making a beeline for.
Yes, one of them does look much more charismatic than the others, yes. The most charismatic one of them is an elf woman with curly hair, a lot of rings down the side of one of her pointy ears. She has a lute strapped to her back and a rapier at her hip. She looks much more charismatic than the next most charismatic person, which would be Jeffrey.
Okay, would real Jeffrey like to handle this?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Okay. So she looks the most charismatic then?
She does, yes. She notices you approach and turns to fix you with a piercing stare, and you can see that she's got a cool scar running down the side of her face.
Oh, nice. Hello. We're just wandering through this desert. Wondering what's going on in this oasis here. Seems to be a bit of an argument going on.
Oh, more of you wandering through the desert, eh? Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Pleasure. Pleasure's all mine.
All right, Pleasure.
She glances over at the most obviously attractive female in the group, which is probably Bagsy, I think.
I have got an ass that won't quit.
You certainly do.
It tried once. But
And she gives you a wink that you could only describe as saucy.
That
Oh,
sounds
well,
good.
Hello, Pleasure.
Hey,
Just
let me
just wondering-
guess. Something about a prophecy, right? You've come here because you've got a mysterious message.
Yeah, we're special. You probably
Special, yeah.
expecting us. Yeah.
Well, hang on a minute. You're special.
Well, yeah, we got this message. There's a prophecy, you know. Told to
Well,
come
what was your prophecy about?
well, it actually wasn't our personal prophecy. It was we're sort of here like there's a vicarious prophecy going on that we're now intercepting because the original no longer available.
No longer available. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on a minute. She stops briefly. She says, "There's not any more of you, right? There's just the four of you."
Yeah.
And Francis the camel.
I mean,
but is he one of the group, or is he like a vehicle?
Well, it's not a vehicle. I mean, that's...
No, I mean, he's not really one of the group.
I mean, all right, not vehicle, a mount, but like, you know, something that you ride that you don't consider to be a friend or equal.
We have got him killed in the past, so yeah.
well, is John the Octopus and that still around?
Oh, Fish Boy.
John the Octopus and Fishboy can be with you if you like. John the Octopus is probably hiding inside a backpack because octopuses don't like the desert.
Yeah,
Right.
he's not keen. He wasn't very impressed. I mean, my leaves are feeling slightly crispy, so he and Fishboy are chilling in a backpack.
Yeah.
Is John the Octopus? I mean, I can't believe I haven't mentioned this before, but octopuses famously also don't like air, do they? Is there some kind of magic?
He is
Sorry,
quite
are
magic.
you asking me if John, the intelligent octopus with crazy martial arts powers,
Yeah.
who is, not to put too fine a point on it, the smartest member of the party by quite a margin? Are you asking if there's anything magic about him?
I'm just thinking about moisture again. I'm just thinking about moisture, and I just feel like
I thought you said John was an idiot.
I mean, that was really just a bit of a dig at the rest of you.
Oh.
I took it personally. I
Yeah.
took it
The veil over
I mean, we all got
becoming
that.
increasingly
We all got
thin.
that.
Yeah, I'm there now.
We all understood.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, that didn't prove your point at all.
Nice one, Pleasure.
Well, hang on a minute, just a second. I've got to go back and have like a brief conference. You guys hang tight. Don't get any less sexy.
And as she's leaving, I wink at her and I do that. finger in the old hole thing.
She turns round and she yells to the rest of her group. It's like, guys, huddle. Like, something important. Come on. And she kind of like waves at the crystal clear waters of the oasis and the palm trees and piles of delicious verdant looking coconuts, etc. She says, make yourself at home. And then she huddles in and there's a murmur of whispers of hushed conversation. Seems
you think
pretty...
we should huddle as well?
You certainly could.
Well, I'm just wondering,
Huddle?
when they're huddling, we're kind of just like looking around like mugs.
Yeah. Should we?
I mean,
I'd
is-
be up
is
for
it-
huddling.
Huddling, then it feels like we're discussing something as well.
There's a height difference. I don't know whether Bagsy wants to sort of sit down and huddle.
Yeah, do you want to sit on the floor and we'll...
Just do a sit and
I
huddle.
mean, I'm
Yeah,
also
I
pretty. I'm above average height, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll also sit down.
Oh, good.
So, guys,
Just gonna sit in a circle.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of making a move on pleasure. There aren't any doors here to put socks on, so it's probably you guys could probably just watch.
I mean, we could just turn away. We have the
It's
option.
been quite a few days. I mean...
I'm not. I might
You know,
bury my head in the sand figuratively and literally.
yeah.
But what about your precious moisture?
I've said what I've done my piece. I can't. Young people today will do what they do. I will just let. I've tried. I've done my bit.
To be fair, there is quite a lot of moisture nearby in the oasis, so if you were
Yeah.
thirsty, then
We could pop John on in it.
You know, I think he'd like a swim.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to throw John that way?
I'm gonna let him out the bag and let him out and go on. So open up the backpack, and I'm point towards it. Look, there's a big pool over there. Go and have a swim.
John the octopus wobbles his tentacles in a delighted way and then rolls and scuttles his way into the oasis and has a little splash around. He seems very happy.
Lovely.
Oh, that's John. I have to remember to pick him up at the end.
Does anything else happen?
No, he seems now that he's in the water, he seems kind of maybe kind of like a bit bored and frustrated, kind of discontented.
Huh.
Oh,
But he
That's
loves
just cool.
water.
He's like swimming around the edges of the oasis, just in circles.
John, have a proper swim. What's the matter?
What are the telltale signs of a frustrated and bored octopus?
Hmm.
Well, you know, just kind of like drumming their tentacles on the surface of the water, changing color to like an olive green kind of a color.
Oh, not olive green. Oh,
Yeah, it's bad.
Is he doing this with his tentacles?
I can't see what you're doing. Hang on.
No, I'm trying to
Do it again.
shrug. I'm shrugging.
I don't think octopuses can shrug, because I think to shrug you need shoulders, and I think octopuses don't have shoulders.
They lack the joints necessary.
Well, he could just move his head down. That's like a
I
inverted.
mean, I don't think octopuses have heads.
The face bit. He moves
I mean,
his
where
face.
where on an octopus is the face?
the bit that's not
The
the,
bit
legs.
where the Graham is on the
Sorry,
face.
exactly. There's a little face there.
There.
I have
There.
evidence.
That face bit.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I can.
Thank you, Graham.
I can see that. Are you gonna get? Are you gonna let Fish Boy out as well?
Well, he's not actually as fond of water. He's been a little
He
kid.
likes
He's
fish.
not.
His name is Fish Boy.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He likes fishing, not being in the water. He's not a fish. He's a kitten called Fish Boy. So he doesn't like being in the water. So unless we can see any fish in.
I mean, there is an octopus in the water.
Yeah, but he's not going to eat fish and eat out
You can't
John
eat
the
your
Octopus.
friends.
No.
Pleasure strides back over to the four of you and says, "So, oh, sorry, am I interrupting something?"
Oh no, we were huddling about really
Yeah,
important
we-
things. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we were
were
just
just
huddle.
discussing whether Fish Boy or Ken would like to go for a swim, and we concluded that even though his name is Fish Boy, he would not. What were you talking about?
Really important.
We were talking about whether you're supposed to be the 4 people mentioned in our prophecy.
Oh,
What's
Yeah.
What was that?
was there a
description?
description?
No, but it wasn't a nice prophecy. It's kind of like there's a lot of doom mentions.
Whose doom? Your doom or our doom?
Well, it's not clear. It's kind of like a general. It would be easier if I read the prophecy, I think.
Oh,
Oh, you've got okay. I didn't know you had it on you. That's great.
Yeah, break it down.
Well, we've all got it on us, actually. That's the weird thing. We all met like over the course of years when we realised that at each of our births, there had been like this mysterious hooded stranger who delivered a prophecy to our parents, or in some cases, our creators.
Oh.
Long story.
Okay.
But we're all linked by the same prophecy, and here it is. 1score and 4, that's us, because there's 24 of us, and 4 to lead them, that's you, because there's 4 of you? Not
Lead? Oh, goodness.
Not clear. Cross the desert to their doom, where fate will forge the world anew in the forgotten horrors too. If you're the 4 people mentioned in the prophecy, that would be great for us because I feel it's going to achieve our destiny. And I would love to spend more time with approximately 1/4 of you.
Our prophecy mentions doom, doesn't it, Jeffrey?
Yeah, we've got to go to the Tomb of Forgotten Horrors.
Oh, yeah, we're the people that you're looking for.
Amazing.
That's so convenient.
I mean, why are you going there? It's not. It's very vague. Are you going to forge a world?
We're being harassed by this deity type creature.
We're being trolled. We've been trolled.
You're being harassed by a deity, like turning into like swans and showers of gold and trying to fuck you.
No, not that kind of deity. I know what you're chatting about though.
Like sending your ship off course for hundreds of miles and making you spend like 20 years making it back to your home island where your wife has been trying to fend off like dozens of aggressive suitors for years.
No, I think you're
Yeah. It's more like they're just trying to kill us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit dull.
Yeah, it's less elaborate than that.
It's not really the kind of thing that an epic narrative is made of.
I disagree. There's sometimes deities get angry and just sort of think vengeance, and then just attack. It happens all the time.
Yeah, but where's the poetry in that? Where's the struggle? Where's the romance?
Well, often if somebody who's kind of betrayed the deity in some way, that's kind of poetic. I think there's a lot of poetry in vengeance and anger, and not much reason for it. I really do.
Give you a funny look.
I've written a collection of poetry of anger, but
Oh, really? I use a lot of anger in my work as well. I'm a bit of a bard/barbarian.
Oh, no way.
A bardarian.
No.
No. Okay.
Tell me some of your poetry, and then I'll introduce you to the other 23 of us, one by one.
Okay. It's not very long. None of them are very long. Rage, terrible rage. I don't have any money, not even a page. And then it finishes because I ran out of paper.
Nice. I like kind of like the socio-political commentary you've got in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, come meet the rest of the gang. There's literally dozens of us. Two dozens.
Great. Should we do it like speed dating, where they do like just say one thing about themselves and then that's enough?
Sure, why not? And if any of them are like interesting enough that you want to see them again or hear from them again, you can just say so, and they'll like get a more significant role.
I think that would. Yeah.
Do you want them to? They're going to introduce themselves because that will be more challenging and I think probably funnier.
Okay.
Great.
Hello, I'm James Morgan. I am an insurance underwriting manager. Nice to meet you. The giant stomps over and leans down very close and says, "Hello, I am Greco Windmill Crusher. I am a thief. I sneak up on people when they're not looking and take their wallets."
Not their windmills.
No, I wouldn't want to take windmills. I hate them, hence my name.
Oh,
Drive you around
My
the place.
special talent is that I can mimic the sound of a telephone with remarkable accuracy.
sound of a what?
A telephone. I don't know what a telephone is either, but apparently it's spot on.
Can you give us an example?
Too late, you're being introduced to the next person. Hello, I'm Johnny Badman, and I am a merchant. A tiny, what looks like a speck of dust rolls up next at your feet and kind of looks up at you with the tiniest, cutest eyes. Says, "Hello, I'm Mrs. Dustball III. I own the village shop."
Which village? What's the name of the village? That sounds lovely.
The name of the village is Cuddlyville.
Did the people... is Cuddlyville populated by other dust balls?
Oh yes, we're a village of dust mites.
Cuddlyville.
You just might be the cutest thing I've ever seen.
It's very idyllic, and we all live lives of peace and happiness. And yet, I felt there was this cloud hanging over my life whilst there was this prophecy thing going on, and I thought I ought to resolve it so I can get back to my real passion in life, which is stocking shelves with various different kinds of biscuit.
Well, Mrs. Dustball, the third, the dust mite, don't you worry. We're here now.
A strange-looking man in dungarees carrying a pitchfork and with one eye noticeably higher up on his face than the other barges the dust mite out of the way and says, all right, it's my turn now. My name is Jackson Fleece Sprog, and I want to be a farmer."
That was a bit rude. Well, not really.
Aren't I cute? Next up is, I am Nohem Manain. I am a cleric and ship's navigator, which is not really a useful skill in the middle of a desert. But if you need divine magic of any stripe, then I am able to perform that under my own power, not using the power of any of these phony gods. A somewhat shabby-looking fellow in a really high-collared, shouldered cloak stomps over to you and says, "And I, of course, am Gliel the Great. You've heard of me, of course. My prophecies are known across the globe."
Could you name one? Just to jog our memory, we hear a lot of prophecies.
Especially recently.
There's the prophecy of the ascension of the goddess Perenor. He's elbowed out of the way by a friendly-looking dwarf with teeny tiny pince-nez spectacles and an impressive beard. Nobody wants to hear about your bloody prophecies. I am Blinkin Grinson. I am a dentist. Can I offer you a boiled sweet?
Yeah, that'd be really nice, actually.
Yes, please.
I'll take one.
Not for me, thank you.
Seems counterintuitive.
Yes.
A strange-looking sort of half deer, half lizard person with furry wings walks up to you and introduces themselves as, "I am the Fae of the Land of Lost Lands." It does
Land
this.
of lost land. That seems like you being intentionally,
Yeah.
you know.
And then a disembodied voice from nowhere says, and I am Gamble Coutier. Ooh. How's it going, ladies?
Not too bad.
Oh, I feel not very good when you say that.
A strange man wearing an incredibly strange hat jumps up from where he'd buried himself halfway in the sand. So just his hat in the shape of a volcano was sticking out, and it looked like a tiny volcano in the middle of the desert. He jumps up and he says, "Hello, I am Mr. Volcano. My species is volcano. My occupation is volcano. I am a volcano. I like to work out also.
What's your first name?
Mr.
Ah.
Is he a human just with a hat?
Yeah, he is obviously a
Says in the
human wearing a hat, yes.
Okay, great. All right.
It's great that you're a volcano. That's really good.
I
A
like how
filthy
you just
looking wizard
erupted.
waves his wand at you from a short distance away and says, I am Solomon Plumbago. If you need any filth magics up, I am the man. Don't ask me to magic filth away. That's not my area.
You summon filth. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm a filth wizard.
Hooray!
I went to school with a filth wizard.
Wait a minute. Bagsy, is that you?
Ah, how are you? I haven't seen you since school.
It's incredible. You know, in school I was always talking about how I wanted to learn higher level spells. Now I can. All of the
That's
cloud spells. Cloud kill, stinking clouds, blazing cloud. Basically just those three.
It's really nice to see you again.
It's lovely to see you too. Well, sorry, hang on. There's a queue forming behind me. It's another dwarf, this one bold, and you can't help but notice as they approach, waving their arms in the air, that their hands are very strange looking. Instead of fingers, their hands have what look more like egg boxes on the ends of them.
Sure.
He walks up to you, waving his arms in the air, and he says in a voice that is strangely reminiscent of a trilobite. That's actually specifically mentioned on the form, resembling that of a trilobite.
Right.
Hello, I'm Joshua Genuflect. I am an egg catcher. Do you have any eggs that you would like to be caught?
Not yet, Joshua, but I'm pretty sure we're going to find some just for you.
Well, should danger call and eggs need catching, you have my egg box fingers.
Thank goodness. Now, how many of the Oasis dwellers are there left? I have lost count of how many we've met.
There are 10 more to meet. Do you want to kind of gloss over it and we'll introduce them if they're interesting? Or
Well, I was
necessary?
just going to ask, could we get, so, I mean, we need maybe a couple of them to explain like what they're all doing here, what they've been arguing about. So I'm saying Mrs. Dustball III and Joshua Genuflex, you're clearly the most well-spoken and sensible of the team here. Could you give us a lowdown, please?
And just while Reverend is doing that, I make eyes at Pleasure, and we go off.
Oh no.
We're just behind a tree now.
So Pleasure and Bagsy saunter off behind a tree, and suddenly after a little while, there's the sounds of, muscular exertion and that kind of thing. Probably there's some fluids involved.
I did say that.
So, You specifically asked Joshua Genuflex and Miss Dustball the Third.
Yes, they seem like the most sensible of the gang to me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd like them to know.
Well, you see, through a chain of unlikely coincidences, we met each other and we realized that we'd all been given this same rhyming prophecy at birth. It seemed like as good a reason to form an adventuring party as any. Wouldn't you agree, Miss Dustball?
Oh yes, I would agree. It seemed pretty logical. We made it this far across the desert, but then we stopped and we had to have a brief argument because, for one thing, we didn't have the 4 people that were supposed to lead us through the desert. And the other thing was that we were arguing over whether this is the Oasis of Madness or whether it's just a normal oasis or not.
Oh. Well, what conclusion did you come to about whether it's the Oasis of Madness or not?
Well, we didn't get that far. Some of us wanted to just try drinking or swimming in the water, but the rest of us thought that was a really stupid idea. Because if it was the Oasis of Madness, we'd go mad.
We look at John the Octopus at this point and see what he's doing.
John the Octopus seems... John the Octopus seems disturbed. He's now thrashing around in the water and desperately trying to, it looks like, use his tentacles to pick tiny things off of his own skin.
Oh no.
If you didn't know better, you would swear that he looks as though he thinks he's covered from head to toe in invisible ants.
Oh, what a terrible fate, John.
I think we probably, looks like this is the Oasis of Madness. We probably need to get him out of there.
Yeah,
No! It's a shame he isn't shaped like an egg.
I mean, arguably, the top of his head is.
Well, in that case, I shall try my best. But how will I manage to make it across the oasis without going mad myself?
Just
So
remember,
walk across it.
Even though I'm off with pleasure, I did hear that because I've got really good hearing, and I say, cover all your orifices, plug them up.
Oh, yes, of course. We shall plug the orifices. Nice and simple.
Bagsy would suggest that. That's a classic Bagsy suggestion.
Are you going to help Joshua to plug his orifices so that he can try and rescue John the Octopus from the Oasis of Madness?
I think we should all help.
Yep.
Meanwhile, behind a nearby palm tree, Bagsy, you and Pleasure have been getting up close and personal and maybe a little bit hot and heavy, sweaty. She's challenged you to an arm wrestling competition.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, go for it. Let's do that. That sounds
She
fun.
is a champion arm wrestler, but you are doing pretty well against her. She's very impressed. Man, you're really pretty good at this. Afterwards, we should have sex. But you're distracted mid-arm wrestle as you notice over her shoulder, distantly on the horizon, what looks like a rapidly approaching cloud of dust, as though something or things are moving very rapidly towards you. What are you doing?
This is terrible timing, but there's a big cloud of dust coming this way. Does this happen often? It's never happened to me before.
Pleasure glances over her shoulder and kind of shrugs. I don't know. We've only been in the desert for a couple of days. I suppose that you're really good in a fight, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I can hold my own.
Well, that's probably going to be helpful.
I'd rather be holding yours, but
what are those things anyway? As they come closer, you can see beneath the cloud of dust that they are kicking up that what is approaching you is about 3/4 of a dozen sort of, okay, so this is going to be hard to describe. Imagine, if you will, the face of a lion, except instead of a neck, it has a wheel of 5 legs. And then on the other side of that wheel is another lion's face. And the lion's faces each look to the side as the legs rotate round like a wheel, and it whizzes along through the desert like some kind of unicycle lion.
You got all that, Graham. You got that should be fine.
Is this weird face lion wheel made of flesh or made of wood?
It is very obviously made of flesh.
Oh, cool.
Momentarily stunned by this strange approaching sight, it's time for the short break where we go and get water and use the bathroom. Will our heroes figure out what the heck these strange 5-legged wheel lion things are? Will the lions eat them all? And will we ever get to any significant plot development in the first episode? Find out after the break. See you in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
fastest.
I've got a couple of comments on that.
Greetings, travellers, and welcome back to part 2 of episode 1 of season 12 of Tales of Adventure, sand-to-sand combat, and indeed, the sand-to-sand combat itself, so tantalizingly promised in the title, was about to begin. Our heroes at the Oasis of Madness have been approached and pounced on by a pack of 5-legged, 2-headed lion creature wheel things. A brief digression. Some of you may be familiar with the old-school Dungeons & Dragons monster, the Roving Mauler, which is 2 lion heads on either side of what can only be described as a wheel of 5 lion legs. They roll around the desert looking for things to eat with their 2 mouths. Don't ask me where the food goes once it's inside them.
Out the other mouth.
How do they have to like fall onto something to eat it? Because if they're just like a wheel rotating with their face on the side, like how would
We
they
just trip
So
them
my
off.
understanding is that they attack mostly by rolling over things. And that once they've got something dead, what they'll do is that they'll kind of like roll on top of it and then kind of like crank it up so that the other lions can then roll along the side and chow down.
Oh, I like it that they work
Travelling pack.
together. That's nice.
Yeah, they're very communal and cooperative. Yeah, it's lovely.
Like a pride.
But
Are they a
what-
pride?
Well, no, like maybe they have a collective noun, but like I don't know what it is. I don't think it'll be.
Somebody in the Twitch chat is a person of great education because they recognise that they're actually based on demons from a 17th century demonic grimoire, the Ars Goetia, which is absolutely true. They are based on a demon from that book. Because back in the day, Dungeons and Dragons used to literally lift things from arcane textbooks from the past. And who knows why in the 1980s people thought that it was a demonic game. But these things are out for blood. They roll rapidly down the dune towards you in the little dip that contains the Oasis of Madness. And upon you and your 24, I guess, followers now, before you can react, because you all rolled pretty bad for initiative.
Oh no!
They roll through the gathered group of people like 5-legged, 2-headed weird lion wrecking balls, scattering people to left and right. 6 of your followers are engaged in one-on-one combat. A strange, fat, gnome-looking creature is tackled by one of them, and bloody shreds are ripped from his cute, adorable outfit. He falls to the ground and doesn't get back up again. Johnny Badman is wrestling with one of these rolling thin things. 2 creepy-looking twins that you hadn't been introduced to yet. Nimbly dodge out of the way without actually seeming to move. They kind of like glide on the sand, and they give a creepy laugh.
Oh.
And Nohenan Ayn, the atheist cleric, actually mutters some kind of a prayer or spell, and she glows with a holy light, and the creature swerves at the last minute to avoid her. It swerves, and it rolls directly at you, Jeffrey Banjo. What are you doing as this as this lion wheel rolls towards you at about 40 miles an hour.
Oh
So I'm going to cast Big B's hand and try and just trip it up.
You're going to try and trip it up?
Yeah, because I reckon like if it stops rolling, it just falls on. It's going to be like a tortoise.
No,
Situation.
Jeffrey, why don't you use Big B's hand to pick it up and put it in the pool and drown it? It will either drown or go mad.
Well, yeah, well, that's a good part. How big are they? Would it be able to do that?
So imagine the size of a lion.
Yeah.
Except on top of that lion, there's a leg sticking straight up.
Cool. Oh, so
they are 2 lion legs high. 1 lion leg from the ground to where the heads are, and then 1 lion leg from the top of the heads up.
Lions are fairly.
I'm going to cast Big B's hand. So you see this spectral purple hand come out of the air, and you're going to try and pick it up and stop it from rolling, and then plop it in the Oasis of Madness.
John the Octopus could beat it up.
Yeah, John the Octopus can have a go.
So you managed to interpose Big B's famous interposing hand, and the roving mauler rolls straight up the slope of the hand and catches some sick air as it soars over the Oasis of Madness, and then lands right in the middle of it with an almighty splash. And immediately its eyes flick open. You notice, by the way, that as it was rolling, it had its eyes closed. You think that, probably, logically speaking, that the reason that it has its eyes closed was because the legs don't rotate freely around the head. As it rolls, the heads also rotate. So to stop themselves from getting really, really dizzy, they have to keep their eyes closed when they're rolling. Anyway, its eyes flick open as it lands in the water, and there's no real way for you to be sure about this, but you're pretty sure that the look that's come into its eyes is pure, and I want to make it clear that this is an audience suggestion, is pure chocolate lusts.
Okay.
I hope nobody has any chocolate on them. Jeffrey has done magnificently. Reverend Hatchet, in the water, you can see that John the Octopus, thinking as he is that he is covered in ants, is incensed by the appearance of what he can only, I guess, perceive as a furry, shitty octopus that can't swim very well, and immediately starts beating it up.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Tentacles are flying, and fur launches itself into the air as it's suckered right off of the poor lion's face. Oh, he scored a hit. John the Octopus murders the lion thing pretty horribly. Around you, the caravan that you've met of strange people is in complete disarray. There's people running in every which direction. Strange little creepy twins crawling across the ground. People casting spells. Gigantic elephant-headed monk flipping over people's heads and screeching kiais. What are you doing? It's chaos.
And all the time the lines are like swoosh, 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 like zooming through.
The lions will zoom through, stop when they realise they've not hit anyone, open their eyes, whiz round, and then zoom back through.
Okay.
In fact, there's one coming for you right now.
I'm going to cast Entangle. See if I can slow these bastards down. Get some graspy vines to like... I'll keep doing vine fingers. You
absolutely can. That means all of the roving maulers have to make strength saving checks.
That's right, you little wheelie roly bastards.
In line.
You manage to catch 4 of them in a patch of vines that sprouts up implausibly out of the desert sand. Each of them, once one of their legs has been caught as they roll along, immediately wrenches to a halt and tumbles to the ground in what can only be described as an incredibly awful-looking tangle of lion legs. They start to mewl pitifully as they can't manage to get themselves up from the ground. However, you didn't manage to entangle the one that was rolling towards you, and...
You're gonna get poured, bro.
it hits you as it rolls directly up and over your tiny body.
Ooh.
Oh, my little face.
And you take 21 damage as its claws, as it just kind of like claws its way up and over you and rolls onwards.
At least it
rolling. Keep rolling.
Got 66 hit points left. Trim Toscobble.
What's happening to me? Who is it?
It's you are not in the middle of anything too much, but Ms. Dustball III has kind of like rolled cautiously round to hide behind you. I don't know why, because you're not very imposing. There's the least of you compared to everyone else to hide behind, and yet she seems to trust you as a fellow person with the voice of an adorable old lady.
Well, we have that in common. I will let her believe that. Well, I suppose if we're not that far...
Trim, save me. Stacking shells with biscuits is not a useful skill in combat.
How big is Mrs. Dustball III?
About yay big.
Okay, just like it fits in your hand.
Fits in your pocket.
Fits in your pocket.
Okay, I'm gonna pop Mrs. Dustball III in my pocket.
It's Ms.
I'm so sorry. Ms. I miswrote that. That's entirely my fault. Well, from a distance, I suppose. I mean, we could just hide.
Up a tree?
Up a tree. I feel like sometimes hiding is underrated. I really do. So I think climbing a little tree and...
Hang on. Can I climb a tree as like a hide action and then do a little arrow from a distance as well? Would that work as a good...
So you, to be able to shoot an arrow from a distance and then stay hidden, you would need a specific feat, but you can certainly hide up a tree and start shooting things. That's easy. No problem.
Okay, I'm gonna give that a go.
Right, me and Ms. Dustball III. Yeah.
You probably want to shoot first and then hide, if that makes sense.
Really? Rather than being like hidden in the bushes? I suppose they'll see where I am then, won't they? Okay.
Yes.
When they open their eyes, but their eyes are closed a lot.
Yeah, you've got like a
You could be
50-50
anywhere.
chance.
What's the
Whether they're
sneak
upside
attack
down.
rules about this going on?
I mean,
Yeah.
either way, you did miss.
Oh. Fair.
They're going pretty fast.
Actually,
and
I think you'll find she did Ms.
Nice.
Love it.
Anyway, your arrow flies wild and shoots over the heads of the crowd of completely panicking audience-created NPCs. However, with a hide bonus of something ludicrous, if I recall correctly.
Got the Pirates of the
So many
Caribbean theme
bits
song
of
in my
paper
head.
to sort through, you have no idea. Yeah, your stealth bonus is 10, so you manage to hide up the tree, no problem. You climb up the tree, and it's the only piece of cover for miles, and it's a palm tree, so it's not like there's dense foliage. You're just like on top of it, and yet nobody knows where you are.
It's great. Okay, great. Is that my go done? I don't have any more extra. That's it, isn't it?
No, you've taken an action to attack, you've used a bonus action to hide, and you've used your move to clamber up a tree.
Right.
Bagsy,
Mm-hmm.
you and Pleasure are still behind a tree. There's a couple of the lion wheel things about to make an approach and run over the pair of you. What are you doing?
I would like to run towards them because I think that's surprising. And I would like to get out my maul and use Divine Smite level 2 spell to hit it into the water. Like I'm playing baseball, basically. Smack it into the water. Bosh.
As you get out your maul and begin to run, Pleasure pulls a rapier from a sheath at her hip and turns round and smacks you on the ass. And you suddenly feel slightly more inspired, and you gain a D10 Bardic Inspiration die.
Nice.
I'd like to point out that Jeffrey Banjo, I think, has never actually used that feature of the Bard's class.
No.
Smacking ass.
He is not.
I mean, you say that as though smacking ass is not generally considered to be a feature of the Bard class.
I mean, to be honest, most bards do get a little bit of ass. It's just you, Jeffrey, that doesn't.
Well, all bards, basically.
Well, you swing your mighty maul once, twice, and you can feel the inspiration from that butt slap guiding your blows to the correct target because they both hit. You do. What level smite would you like to do?
F2, please.
Level 2. And do you want to do it for each hit or just for one?
Oh, let's do it for each hit. Why not?
Extra, bit of extra, why not?
For anybody in the audience who likes math, which I'm assuming for a D&D crowd is probably statistically quite a lot higher than the average number of people in any given audience who like maths, Bagsy here is using 2 level 2 smite slots on a creature with 30 hit points.
Oh,
I don't know how many hit points they had, though.
Which means that
it's going to rain blood.
No, well, not quite. It means that this thing is going to take 4d6 plus 8d8 plus 10 damage. Which is...
a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a hell of a lot.
Say it's dead. I'm going to guess dead.
What kind of soup is it?
No, does it explode like a firework?
Like a
does it explode and all the legs go like boo,
boo, boo.
Tell us what happened.
Maybe that's how Catherine wheels are invented. We actually think about it and be like, oh, that would make an awesome firework.
Yeah, the blood spurting out the end of the legs, like.
Yeah. Oh.
So you do 63 damage to a creature with only 30 hit points. Bagsy, would you please describe how brutally you kill this thing?
There is nobody out of the 24 people, the 28 of us, plus the other ones that is now not covered in some form of guts or face or fur. Like it has literally exploded, like just like a water balloon that pops. Just like everyone has got something that should be on the inside, on the outside for now.
Cat paste,
as
Graham has delightfully put it.
And I want to be specific. A lot of it somehow managed to get in Jeffrey's mouth.
Right.
Clumps of fur, clumps of blood.
Jeffrey, it's your turn now. 4 of these things have been tied down by vines by Reverend Hatchet's spell. One of them has been beaten to death by John the Octopus as it tried desperately to find some chocolate to fuck. And one of them has just been literally exploded by Bagsy after a motivating butt pat. There's one of them left that is not tied down to the ground. But you've also got some cat paste, or I guess you could call it catay in your mouth, like cat pate in your mouth.
Okay, well, I'm gonna spit the catay out, but also an idea for a future. Bigby's hand stays up, doesn't it? It's just
Bigby's
kind of
hand does
floating
stay
around
up.
a little bit.
You can concentrate on that. There are. Do you know what? It's something that has always bugged me about the concentration rules in Dungeons and Dragons is that there's no rule that forces you to make a concentration check for like distracting things happening. Because there are a lot of things that are really distracting that happen in Dungeons and Dragons. Like you have to make a concentration check, say if you stub your toe and take 1 HP damage, but you don't have to make a concentration check like if a demon jumps out of a hell portal and says, I'm gonna kill you and eat your souls, which is pretty,
Yeah. Or if a
seems odd.
5-legged, 2-headed lion explodes in front of you.
Into your mouth.
Anyway, yes, Bigby's hand is still up.
Okay, well, I'm gonna I'm just gonna try and do a similar thing. Actually, what I want to do is get Bigby's hand to grab the lion that's not like entangled and stuff, and to try and to get it so that its legs are sort of compressed a little bit, and then like do a sort of a baseball pitcher movement, ready to throw it at Bagsy, who I'm hoping is gonna, with her maul, is gonna whack it and send it into the into the trees, into the sand dunes.
Okay, so that is probably doable.
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of alley-oop.
You have to roll pretty well.
Do you want to inspire me, Jeffrey? Can you?
Yeah, I'm gonna inspire you.
What are you gonna say to me to inspire me?
I'm gonna say thanks for the cat.
Is that inspiring?
Well, I'm gonna sort of do that and just be like, actually, I could have more of that.
Well, there might be some coming right up.
So Jeffrey does indeed grab one of the roving maulers as it rolls down the hill towards the group of scattered people once more, and serves it like a baseball or cricket ball, depending on your national sport preference, straight up towards Bagsy Badley, who is indeed inspired. You're getting some sass in the comments, by the way.
I haven't seen this. What does someone say?
I'm going to deviate from the normal turn order here because I think it's more interesting to directly go to Bagsy hitting this thing than it is to say that the thing is just hanging in the air for 2 turns whilst Trim take their turn.
I wondered if you'd do that.
Bagsy, Jeffrey has served you up a 5-legged lion wheel thing perfectly. What are you doing? And do you say anything funny as you hit it? Just assuming you're hitting it.
Yes, I'm going to use my maul again. I'll use Divine Smite, but a level 1 this time. I'll tone it down a little bit. And I say, catter up, like batter up, but cats. Catter up.
Clear.
You know what? That is, I appreciate the effort that was made there. I will give you advantage for having said catter up. That is a magnificent hit. And...
it's like everything went in slow motion just as she's...
That's another 1-hit kill. This time it was 36 damage, so it's not quite as drastic.
Yeah.
But with an incredible meaty swing of your maul, the roving mauler has... Well, so you know how it's got 2 cat faces on one side? Well, the cat face on the side that you hit is now an innie instead of an outie.
I have one of those at the moment. But a belly button, not a face.
So you have like a cat face in the stomach?
No.
And its corpse tumbles over the dunes and away. Reverend Hatchet. You've got most of the remaining cat wheel things just tied up in the sands. What are
Well,
you doing?
I'll continue to concentrate on my spell and keep them tangled. I would like to go up to the closest of the cat wheel type things and stab its eyes out. Just like,
Okay, so what, with your thumbs?
yeah. I'm going to kind of approach it from the forehead end rather than the mouth end if it's lying down.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, I feel that without its upward face being able to see, that would be quite a hindrance. So
Also, you haven't washed your hands in ages. You've got loads of stuff under your nails.
I am
Blimey.
filthy. I mean, Solomon Plumbago, like, you know, we had a moment of like when the filth wizard appeared. So I mean, if it survives the things it'll catch.
Reverend Hatchet, you've rolled a 12 and its armor class is 16, so you've failed to hit. And how I would interpret that is that you have short arms, and what you are trying to do is get it in the middle of 5 legs that are trying to push you back, and indeed 5 legs that are trying to claw your fucking face off. They have missed though, because you are apparently tougher than you look. One of its claws goes for what it thinks are your eyes, but instead it just claws across your skull hat. It went for the wrong set of eyes. That's where your eyes used to be. Back when you were a human.
Yeah.
But you're now in hand-to-hand combat with a lion covered in vines.
Surely it would be hand to hand to hand to hand to hand to hand to hand combat.
I mean, technically it would be hands-to-hands to paw to paw to paw to paw to paw combat. Or if you wanted to title drop, you could say stand-to-stand combat. But anyway, Trim Toss Gobble, you are on top of a tree. You have a dust ball in your pocket.
Are the other lions incapacitated? What's happening with the tangled lions? I'm a bit confused.
So the creatures that are entangled are restrained, which means that it's easier to hit them and it's harder for them to hit you, and they're stuck where they are. They're not incapacitated, because incapacitated is like a specific thing that isn't. I don't want to get into the fine points of Dungeons and Dragons conditions rules.
Really? You don't?
No, I don't. I think one of the things that 5th edition does not very well is make the conditions easy to understand. Like the difference between restrained and incapacitated and stunned and paralyzed.
Petrified.
Yeah, it's not so easy to grok.
Okay, so your explanation was clear. I liked it. Okay, Trim, I am going to whisper to Ms. Dust what?
Dust
What's
Ball.
the Dust Ball?
Dust Ball. The third.
Give him one for me, Trim.
Okay. So I'm going to slide down the.
Have a biscuit.
Oh, I am actually very hungry. I'm concerned it might dry out my mouth and I need the moisture, but I'm going to have it anyway. So I have the biscuit fortified. I am ready. I'm going to slide down the tree in like a excited, when people like slide down like ladders and they just go right down the ladder because they've like gripped the sides. The palm tree, I suppose that's not possible, but I'm gonna I don't know,
You could slide down a palm tree like Batman and Robin and slide down the bat poles.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of going for, just like a quick.
Or firemen slide down poles in the fire station if you want a more normal person reference.
It's firefighter actually, not fireman.
Listen, if I'm going to imagine a firefighter sliding down a pole, then personally it will be a man. That's just a weird sexual thing, and I appreciate that in the generic case I should say firefighter. Thank you.
But your preference is your preference. as a as a slidey firefighter, I'm gonna slide on down the tree. I wonder whether this gives me sneak attack advantage if I run really quickly and it didn't see me coming out of the tree. But I don't know if it does.
I mean, you do have sneak attack and advantage because it's tied up in vines, not because you've slid down a tree. Sliding down a tree doesn't technically give you advantage on anything.
Looks hella cool though.
It does look hella cool, yes. You look like a total boss, and a lot of the crowd, who are mostly panicking and running around ineffectually, are very impressed. You strike plain and true and you hit the thing, and you do... I have forgotten how many sneak attack dice you have.
Where will I see this? I've never been asked this before.
What, your sneak attack dice?
3d6. Don't know why I shouted that. Sorry if that was really loud.
Yeah, you shout away. You shout. Have fun.
Shout.
Treat yourself right.
Caribbean tune as well.
It's my thinking song at the moment. Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know why.
With a mighty stab, you sink your short sword deep into the mouth of one of the cat things, and you think briefly for a moment that if it starts trying to roll away, you'll just be carried with it like a weird stabbing axle. It's not dead though, it's only taken 18 damage. It is the turn of the various roving maulers who are going to try and make strength checks to escape from the terrible entangling vines, which means I need to roll.
Lions are famously quite strong.
They are. They've got strength 17. Ooh, all of them are able to burst free.
Burst free from
the
vines.
To the top of the nearest dune, where they open their eyes and give Reverend Hatchet a dirty look as they turn. And you know, Reverend Hatchet, they're all going to be going for you next turn. However, next up is Jeffrey Banjo. There's 4 of these things left.
His hand. How many are left?
4.
Amazing. Cool. Well, I saw one of them out. So seeing this Oasis situation, seeing the lions coming on, and John the Octopus looks like he's sort of sorted and finished, right? Is he still splashing around?
Yeah, he's still splashing around. He doesn't seem to be convinced that he's covered in ants anymore.
Cool. Is there anything else, or?
Oh yeah, there is. The
Okay.
random selector thing I've got takes a minute to go through. You don't know how you know this, but at a glance you can tell that the latest madness inflicted on poor John the Octopus by the waters of the Oasis of Madness is that he is convinced that he isn't a virgin, despite all evidence to the contrary.
Oh man,
That's weird, John. That's just odd, mate.
That is weird.
You know.
It's a bit weird. Yeah, it is. Yeah. What are you doing, Jeffrey? These things are about 60 foot away from you at the top of the sand dune.
Okie doke. 60 feet. Oh, Bigby's hands range is
60 feet. Well, it's 120
amazing.
foot, but you can move the hand 60 foot as a
Cool. So what I want to do with Bigby's hand is have it go over, grab one of the lions again, and chuck it into this oasis. And as like it's being chucked into the oasis, I'm gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna make you into sea lion. Just roll with it, because it's a rolling lion and it's an oasis.
Yep.
Roll with it."
I'm imagining it's like
An
one of those
oasis song.
vending machines. Like the hand comes down and picks it up, and it, it's like, oh, am I gonna win that prize?
Yeah. I love it like a disc.
I'm afraid, Jeffrey, this lion's having none of it.
What?
Your clenching hand tries to grab it, but it leaps into the air, and each one of its 5 legs grapples with one of the 5 digits of your interposing hand, and it manages to wrestle your gigantic hand off. You
Damn.
don't succeed on your grapple check, and you can't throw it in the water.
Oh. He's just going to hover there being like, can't get mad, not touching.
Cute. Reverend Hatchets, you reckon you've got one chance to do something before 4 angry roving maulers roll down the hill and batter you?
Are they in motion yet, or are they static?
They are indeed beginning to pick up momentum as they roll down the dunes towards you.
Well, in that case, I'm going to use my hidden paths, which I've thus far never used.
It's hidden.
And as a
Right,
bonus,
you have the secret ability granted to you by the mysterious fairies of the course of Fiancé to kind of teleport a bit.
and I'm gonna kind of wait. I'm gonna lock eyes with the lions and wait for a bit as they kind of and then just teleport just behind them, so just a little bit further up the hill, and then turn around
Be running up that
Just
hill. Be
as they're
running-
rolling where I would have been.
Trixie.
2 of the roving maulers are so shocked by your sudden disappearance and reappearance behind them that they're not able to stop in time, and they careen across the surface of the Oasis of Madness and with splashes find themselves landing in the water.
Oof.
They're momentarily overcome by the madness and one of them becomes afraid of regular polyhedrons, and the other one has the uncontrollable urge to stuff mystical animals into tiny balls.
Is there anything they can do? Are they like currently affected by those things? Those don't feel like immediate dangers.
I mean, it's they've missed their turn because of Reverend dodging them so neatly. However,
Alright.
2 of them aren't so easily fooled, and they pull like a sick handbrake turn, as much as one wheel can pull a handbrake turn, and they kind of go and they cross back over and they come back around and zoom straight at your face, Reverend Hatchet. And only one of them gets you, but it gets you good. You take another 20 damage as another lion thing rolls up and across your face.
You're on 44 now, Rev.
Ooh,
I'll make it 46.
Oh,
ooh.
You're at half health, which is not really. I mean, they're not actually that threatening. Like, only one of you's been hurt, and it's not. 2 of them are in the water, and John the Octopus is starting to punch them a bit. He's in his element. The lions very much are not in their element. The fight is broadly speaking more or less over. Trim, there's 2 of these roving maulers left. One of them is the one that you stabbed earlier in the mouth.
And are they quite close? How far away are they?
They're plenty close, yes, because the one that you stabbed was right up next to you and Reverend Hatchet before, and now it's zipped away and come back and
So
clawed his face.
So close enough for like a melee situation.
Yeah, close. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
run up to and melee.
And do melee. I'm gonna go thunderclap. Oh wait, hang on. Who else is near me? Is anyone else nearby? Dusty. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
Ms.
Isn't she-
Dustball.
isn't she up a tree?
No, she's in Trim's pocket.
Okay, I'm not gonna thunderclap.
Pocket, that should be all right. It doesn't, like, all of your equipment doesn't go out like that.
It says all
T-
creatures within range have to take
T- Tell her to put biscuits in her ears.
That could help.
In her
Nice.
what?
Ears.
Oh, right. I thought you said anus.
Just,
Back on the orifices thing again.
just in the
I mean-
meantime, there's a
To make sure to, do all of them. Just
I mean, have a good time if you're gonna die. I mean,
There's
There was
enough
a gem of
biscuit.
a line in the Twitch chat. Scott Moonshine says, so John versus the Mauler is tentacle to 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 paw to paw to paw to paw to paw combat. And I think that's beautiful.
I think we should name a character after him for that.
That sounds like a poem. That's beautiful.
It kind of is. It's kind of, yeah. So what are we actually doing, Trin?
I was considering Thunderclap, but I don't want to sacrifice Ms. Dust Lady. So I'm going to go with Eldritch Blast as well. Instead.
So
Eldritch Blast towards the line that's on the way. And as I do it, I'm going to be like, you've attacked my friends, but this is the line in the sand. And I'm going to be like, and I'm going to attack.
Nice.
So 3 beams of fiery, crackling eldritch energy shoot out from your outstretched hands. 2 of them hit. And you do 17 damage. That is 1 dead roving mauler. There's only 1 of them left, and it looks pretty. It stops for a moment and stands still, and it opens its eyes and it looks round. It can look round pretty efficiently because it has eyes on both sides, so it only needs to do like a half turn to see literally everything around it.
Be a good teacher.
And
it would be a good teacher. It could face the whiteboard and still see the student.
I mean, it would be a good teacher in the sense that it has literal eyes in the back of its head, but I think it would be a bad teacher in the sense that
it wants to kill everything.
Can't speak any languages.
And
it has an int of 2, so it isn't really capable of comprehending the idea of passing on knowledge or information.
Concept. Well, I suppose when they have baby roving maulers, little roving maulingis, as they're known, I'm sure. Do they teach them things, don't they? Like cubs, little tiny cubs.
I mean, I think they learn. I think that they learn by seeing their parents do. I don't think there's any kind of like formal teaching. I think the pedagogy of 5-legged, 2-headed, weird lion wheel things is extremely limited. I don't think they've got much going.
Okay, well there we go. That's all right. That's okay.
Now that you've mentioned baby roving maulers, I've immediately started to wonder how the fuck these things breed.
There's been no mention of that. What was that, Stu? Did you say heavily?
Carefully.
I thought you said heavily.
No.
Heavy petting.
They pollinate. They might pollinate.
So do we think that they have like one set of genitals?
They probably
like
do when they're lying down.
I think one of the arms is not actually an arm, and one of the mouths,
like with octopuses,
and then one of the mouths is not actually a mouth.
What was that about octopuses? Don't ruin this for me. Are you kidding?
I don't know if it's all octopuses, but certainly some species of octopuses. I think they use one of their tentacles as a penis.
Oh my goodness.
Your mind's just been blown.
I have not inquired, John the octopus. I've not asked.
The comments have immediately taken that poetry to a new level. It's paw to paw to paw to paw to paw to dong to paw combat. Bagsy, there's one of them left, and it looks as though it's going to flee as fast as its 4 legs, and at least 1 penis will carry it.
Am I close to it? Am I?
You're about 60 foot away. You were on the other side of the melee from the ones that Reverend Hatchet managed to tie down.
I mean, I could say you better row because it looks like it's gonna run anyway.
You could do that, and Pleasure Soul Mine is kind of like leaning up against the tree nearby in a sort of saucy way.
Yeah.
I realise I've said saucy twice. It's just I don't have a lot of sexy adjectives.
That's all right.
Emphasize it.
Saucy works.
I just say you better row, and I pick up a rock and throw it in that direction, and then I go off to seek pleasure.
Rock
pleasure.
and roll.
You throw the rock, and it doesn't hit the roving mauler. As it rolls up and over the dunes away in the direction that it came from. A moment's calm descends upon the oasis of madness. Emerging from behind sand dunes, underneath rocks, out of the water itself, come the remaining members of the 24 audience-created characters. They're looking at you with a mixture of gratitude, awe, and in some cases, slight jealousy, to be honest. I think they have, like, on some level, an awareness that they're not as important to the plot as you.
Hard to deal with that. Yeah.
Kind of sad.
I'm going to I can sense this, and Trim's ego is like enormous, so she's going to ride that wave and just grab her short sword and stab the nearest head of a dead lion and just be like, "Don't you worry, guys, the lion sleeps tonight," and just gonna sort of aim for a bit of respect there.
Nice.
Pleasure saunters over and says, if you ever consider like training in how to be a bard, I could teach you if you need like somebody who knows how to do bard stuff. It gives you a wink that you could only describe as slightly saucy.
Is that to Trim?
That is to Trim.
Oh, I was walking over to her, so she's walked away from me. Then.
Well, no, you walked over in Trim's direction together. Why not?
Fine.
If you want, you can be doing that weird coupley thing where you've got each other's hands in each other's back pockets.
That's so weird. I was literally just thinking that's what I would be doing.
No.
Yeah, I'm grabbing her wrists.
And so, with a crowd of prophesized followers surrounding you, your path is clear, and indeed, as the dust cloud from their departure dies down in the direction that the roving mauler fled, you can see the Tomb of Forgotten Horrors, a gigantic black pyramid. John the Octopus, in the Oasis of Madness, has also developed a fear of polyhedral shapes and has a terrified look on his face.
Which we all know is clear to see because octopuses have faces.
Which is clear, yes. I have now come down on the side of octopuses have faces because it's easier then to humanize them and portray them as having a deep and rich emotional life, which I think John the Octopus does have. John the Octopus is a person as much as he is an octopus.
He's done a lot for us today. He's done very well.
MVP.
What a good boy.
Exactly.
He's felt at least two emotions today. Discomfort and vengeance, if that's an emotion.
But hopefully not anger. I'd hate for him to look back on that oasis in anger.
Jeffrey.
Can that be the final thing that we say as we start walking towards the tomb?
Incredibly disappointing note. You and your followers set out across the desert towards the Tomb of Forgotten Horrors. What terrible forgotten horrors await within? Who is the mysterious Dark Master who seems to be controlling fate itself to strike out against our heroes? Why are all of the monsters they faced wildly inappropriate for the level that they've reached over the course of 12 adventures? These things are challenge rating 3. They weren't a challenge by any stretch. What's going on?
We all had fun, though.
And more may be answered, but probably not, in the next episode of Tales of Adventure!
Yay!
If you have enjoyed the show, why not draw a scene from it and send it to us on Twitter, and you could win tickets to the next live show that you can attend after all of the pandemic stuff has died down. And you could also be featured in our halftime slideshows. And if you really want, we'll make a character with your name in the show. If you've enjoyed it that much, please consider donating to help keep the theatre running and to give us some pay, because we're all starving artists of one stripe or another. Other than that, is there anything I've forgotten?
You could follow us on Twitter. It's Tales_Adventure, or you could follow the cast members. All of our Twitter handles are here, and you can check on that on. We also have a Facebook, and yeah, we really enjoy seeing your pictures. So yeah.
Oh, and one more thing, as well as fan art submissions or anything else, I am also going to ask if you have a favorite old weird Dungeons and Dragons monster that you don't see much nowadays. Tweet us it, and it will appear in the Tomb of Forgotten Horrors next time. Otherwise, thank you all very much, and good night.
Good night.
See you in 2 weeks' time.
Bye.
Bye.